Excellent. And now, going from high school to college, like for example, we've had a couple of basketball players on the show. They talked about how the speed of the game was a lot faster on the college level. How was like your first handful of track meets your freshman year in college?
Um, that's actually so funny because in high school, I did very, very well. And then I thought that this was going to all transition into college. And it transitioned at one point, like the timing was always right. But when I first had my first few meets, I was not running, that well and compared to the college girls. When you're in high school and you're doing your best in high school, that's high school. When you're going into college, yes, take that mindset from high school into college,
Okay.
like, tell yourself like you're the best. But at the end of the day, you're going to take some losses because you're not in high school no more. Now you're in college and there's people who have been doing this, they're veterans, and the competition and the pressure when you get to college is different than what it is when you're in high school. So I can definitely say that my first few meets, I had some meets that were great. I had some meets that were just absolute trash. I had some meets that were questionable. Like we don't even know what you're gonna run when you get out onto the track. That's a problem. So like I definitely had some questionable few meets, but then once I started to get into the atmosphere of college and started to really understand and like navigate, handling those emotions and like how you feel when you're actually competing and like it's high intensity. Once you get all that under control, it started to get better.
Okay, things started to fall into place.
Definitely, yes.
And
Like you're gonna do school. It's hard because I have 100 other things in my mind, but um, that's helped a lot. And I also see a sports psychologist, and she just does a really good job of just being like, okay, Field, this is track and this is what you're doing right now, but you got to think about the big picture. And if you're not focused in school, what's gonna happen whenever you don't have track. Um, and so I really try to do that. And then whenever I come home, I don't live with any track athletes or any athletes at all, just because I want to be able to have a social life outside of track. Because I'm with my teammates every day, almost every second of every day. And then I want to like come home and have time for my friends. So it's definitely
You
a
know,
balance.
as an athlete, I believe your mind is one of the strongest muscles that you have. And I get down on myself a lot. I struggle with that mentally. But every time I just think back and I'm like, okay, maybe, if you're down on yourself because you ran slow today at practice, me, I haven't been to a meet. That's hard to do. My team has gone to 4 meets without me. But, at the end of the day, I know it's not my timing. It's all because of something. There's not, you're not
mhm.
just doing it for a reason. You would have been in this position if it wasn't for no reason.
Amen to that.
Yeah, and it's we have those things like for us, like there's sports psychologists out there.
I think that can be like a reality check for a lot of people. I remember I got to my first meet freshman year and I was like, oh my God. Like I remember I ran the 400 and I'm like going to check in, and then checking in front of me is Anna Cockrell from USC
Oh,
when she was at USC, and I was just like, yeah,
an Olympian, a future Olympian.
I was like, oh my God, like this isn't high school anymore. So I think that's like the biggest difference. But also like I kind of had this notion that I was gonna like get to college, and like I also was like overthinking and thinking I'm like gonna be in last at practice, like everyone's gonna be so much faster than me at practice. And it's like
Self-care and mental health is extremely important, and it's important to prioritize it because I've learned you can get caught up in life so quickly and things just keep getting thrown at you and more things on your plate and your schedule gets really full really fast, and it's very overwhelming. This adjustment process from high school to college has been crazy, and throwing athletics and academics and appointments and meetings on top of it has been really hard. And being able to take time for myself and find things that will refill my tank. For me, it's going to church and finding small groups and going to FCA. Those things refill my tank, and I make sure to prioritize those into my schedule because I know that if I didn't have those and I didn't have those refueling activities, that I would be burnt out. And so to me, it's just very important to find those things that refuel your tank and give you the energy so you can do your best in the classroom and in your sport.
And what advice would you have to not just a college gymnast, but any college student athlete that was struggling from the mental health side?
I would say to reach out. There's so many people that are here to support you, friends, teammates, coaches, trainers, sports psychologists. They're all here to help you, and just reaching out to somebody, asking them maybe,
doubts or negativity, especially when you're going into a race, because most of the time that will negatively impact you if you're not completely confident in your own ability. That's actually something that I've been working on a lot, and I'm continuously working on right now. And it's kind of a barrier that I'm trying to get over, the nerves and like just being confident in my abilities, and like really trusting all the training that I put in. It can be kind of difficult, especially if you don't see the results right away. But you have to trust the process and like know that you're putting in the work and you're going to reap the benefits of what you put in.
Excellent. Now, do you have any specific like coping skills or coping strategies, any kind of advice to a student athlete that may be struggling?
So I actually have a sports psychologist who I talk to. So I have someone that I can go to and kind of share my thoughts with, and he normally gives me like little things I can do at home to help me kind of better visualize I guess like my races, and like better like improve my confidence in myself.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's really nice to have someone to talk to and to kind of just to get that out there. Journaling is also really great. My sister actually just started her own little company. It's called Affirmation, and she is working on making products like journals and stuff like that to help people to kind of get into a better and healthier mental state.
And grade, more so 12th grade, they're hoping to get a college scholarship.
Got to be confident. You have to realize your self-value, because it's really easy, especially in track and field. It is so easy to compare yourself to other people, to base your self-worth off of these numbers and these marks that you get. But, especially in college.
As far as a couple of tips for seniors that are going to make that jump from high school athletics to college athletics, will be some tips and pointers or some eye openers.
Yeah, I think the number one would probably be just focus like on yourself. Like when you do get to college, try not to compare yourself to other people. I know I had like kind of trouble with that this year. Like this first semester, I compared myself to other athletes on my team or other freshman athletes, the way they do things or their routines. It's really easy. Or also like body image, like comparing yourself, yes, comparing your body to their body, and you feel like you need to have this certain body. Just try not to compare yourself to other people, because I know that was a struggle of mine. I felt like I needed to have a 6-pack and just ripped abs to be able to do what I do when I really don't. And like all bodies are different, and just genetics in general. So just try not to compare yourself to anyone else. Just really focus on yourself, and really focus on the beautiful aspects of your own body. I think is the main thing, because like there's like certain things on my body that no one else has, that kind of thing. So it's like just really trying to find like really focusing on yourself, and you're really going to see like the beauty within your own self instead of trying to compare it to like other people. Another tip I would have to say is obviously like the coaching and the is going to be different, and it's going to be a huge transition. I think really focus on trying to learn your coach's style and really get on the same wavelength with your coach and figure out and make sure he's learning you and your technique and just getting on the same page about things. Like if you're confused about what he said, like if he's saying one thing and you're like thinking another, like ask him about it. Don't be afraid. Like just try to say like, oh, do you mean this? And then y'all will just get on the same page, and it just makes practice a lot easier. It's less